was all bad. Yeah, it was all bad. It was all bad. Yeah.
Andaluces de AE, aceituneros activos, pregunta mi alma de quién son esos olivos. Andaluces de AE, aceituneros activos, pregunta mi alma de quién son esos olivos. Andaluces de AE, no me andaluces de AE, aceituneros activos, pregunta a mi alma que quién levantó los olivos. Andaluces de AE, vuestra sangre, vuestra vida, no la del explotador, que se enriqueció en la ira, generosa del sudor. ¿Cuántos siglos de aceituna, los pies y las manos presos, sol y luna, pesan sobre vuestro hueso? Andaluces de AE, aceituneros activos, prensa mi alma de quién son esos olivos. Andaluces de AE, AE, levántate brava sobre tu piedra lunares, no vayas a ser esclava junto tus olivares. Andaluces de AE, aceituneros activos, pregunta a mi alma de quién son esos olivos. Andaluces de AE.
Juan Sanchez, everybody. One more round of applause, would you? Juan Sanchez, the wonderful voice, founder of Palenke Arts, and host of our open mic here tonight. Hey, everybody, how y'all doing?
Doing great.
Doing great. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Garland Thompson. I'm kind of subbing in tonight for the great River Nevi, who's the usual host here. She's off working with the kids at Seaside High in the drama club as they put together their show. It's coming up this weekend, as a matter of fact, so go check that out. Anyway, I was asked to come down and host the open mic, so we're going to have some fun. There's not too many of you, so if you want to go up more than once, I think that would probably be okay, depending on if there are more people that come, then we'll work them in. I'll tell you a little bit about me for those of you who don't know me. I do host another open mic in town, the Rubber Chicken Poetry Slam open mic on Wednesday nights at the East Village Coffee Lounge, so you're all welcome to come on down there. But it's not about that tonight, it's about here. It's about right here, it's about right now, it's about hearing from all of you guys. So let's bring up our first person, and then I'll read a poem, and then I'm just kind of feeling this out. Okay, so, right, so if I screw up, feel free to yell at me, you know, feel free to throw something at me or whatever, feel free to go, dude, man, what up, you know, or something, so I'm just, you know, because this is also our open mic, as a couple of our people here know, is a bit more, shall we say, raucous than the Palenke Arts is. This is real chill. I love coming here because it's so chill. You know, we get a little crazy, we got people coming and going, and it's like a nutty scene, but this is really nice. So that's what we're doing tonight. So let's, I'm going to tell you who's on the list. We've got, looks like we've got Jose H. Would that be you, Jose? Jose, we got Jose. Feel free to give him a round of applause if you like. Welcome here. Who's your first time here, Jose?
Yeah.
Is your first time here? Okay, excellent. We've got Miguel and Laurie. Where's Miguel? Miguel, that's you? Miguel? Give Miguel and Laurie some love. Nice to meet you, Miguel. Have you been here before? Your first time? Welcome, welcome, welcome. We got Juan.
Yes.
That would be our man here, which you've heard from already, Juan Sanchez. And then Heather Fleischer is here.
Yeah, well,
Heather Fleischer, did I get that right?
but she's like trying to decide. So there's like a little conflict going on. So she's trying
Okay,
to
so
figure out.
that's, they're working it out. Okay,
Yeah.
I on the list, but Heather is always welcome up here.
Yes.
So I hope to hear from Heather.
And Garland, right? Are you gonna do something?
And yes, I will be doing something. I will be doing some poems. I'll try not to do too much. I don't want to, this isn't about me. This is about you guys. Whenever I host, it's always about all of you guys. So, but let's start off with Jose, right? Jose, you ready to come on up and do something for us?
Yeah.
Come on up, Jose. And we're going to do, let's say about maybe, we'll do like 2 songs or 2 pieces, something like that. And then we'll bring you back up if we have the time, right? Or we can feel it out. We can feel it out, right? How about some love for Jose?
So Jose and I have been friends for 27 years. He's my son's godfather. And so we're family. And we've dealt with the joys and struggles.
I was coming to watch the open mic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because this is my first time, but I'm glad to share this song with you. I haven't played with Juan in a long time because he is so busy, and I am too sometimes. I'll do this song because time goes so fast, and suddenly time goes so fast, and it just keeps clicking like the clock. So I wrote this song, and this is supposed to be the clock. La vida se me escapa como el fuerte viento, no volver a ese tiempo que alguna vez perdí. Espero la llegada de cierto momento, después creo fue un cuento que alguna vez leí. Un poco de nieve se deshace el viento, lo tienes en la mano y se te escapa así. Se pasan las semanas y yo no la siento, espero la mañana, pero siempre es aquí. En ese momento viviré como el último en mis manos, como un fin de disfrutando de amar. A veces cuando pienso que no llevo prisa, ignoro tu sonrisa para no despertar. Comprendo que la vida es maravillosa, porque hay una esperanza, una sonrisa. Desde momento viviré como último en mis manos, como el fin de un hermano, disfrutando de amar. Desde momento viviré como el último en mis manos, como el fin de un verano, disfrutando de amar. And then
Qué bonito. Wow, we have not played that in what? 17 years or something like that?
You guys sound like you just rehearsed.
No. Sorry, by the way. I'm so sorry.
let's do
That's an original song. That's beautiful.
let's you say we could do 2, so
I do more than that.
There you go, the big crowds here coming in. We're boisterous.
Whatever you want to do,
I wrote this song long time ago, and I think it's now I'm thinking goodness, it says, wake up already. Many of us are looking for peace. And now I'm so confused with so many alternative truths and the digital life and everything. It's like out of my head, but the real thing sometimes, there are so many things going on. And I think, this is despierta ya, wake up already.
Wake up.
Many of us are looking for peace.
Otro.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah. Una más. La que tú quieras.
And then you can come back up later. So.
Yeah, our own private
I
concert.
forgot the
One
other
and
ones.
friends.
No, you can
27
do
years
something
ago.
else. I know, isn't that crazy? It really is.
That's beautiful.
That's gorgeous. This is living room stuff, just like this. we got the big pillow.
Okay, this is a question, and I forgot this song, and my sister reminded me, "What, have you sung that song?" And I said, "I don't remember that song." and I think it comes on time for today. It says, "What do you pretend humanity? You one piece and make war." And so it's a question: why do we do what we don't want to do, and don't do what we love to do, what's supposed to be good to do? Hoy te quiero preguntar, antes que se ponga el sol y que muera la ilusión, antes que enfurezca el mar. Hoy te quiero preguntar, cuando brilla el amor, invadiendo por el sol, nuestra tierra y nuestro mar. Frecuente su humanidad, haces guerra y tierra atrás, violencia y egoísmo, nunca
we get one more round of applause for these guys? And I love hearing music like that. It's so gorgeous. Thank you very much. Somebody write me a poem. Somebody write me a poem. Long and sweet, with a rhythm as fine as her hips. Rolling down hills on Route 66, they rise and fall, one breath after another, the country breathing in and out, while rubber smacks tar veins, shooting us forward. We roll up and down the land like hands on a body or a drummer's beat on skin, and I lay in my bed at night thinking, somebody write me a poem that feels like sunset. Sitting on the porch, cool glass of lemonade in my hand, dinner in the kitchen, the smell creeping out the door to tell me soon I would eat, drink, and be merry. A black Labrador dog coming up the driveway, his tail wagging, and the cocktail in my hand is not yet a problem. These are better times. And again, I think, somebody write me a poem that tells me about my own history, painting pictures of activists, gangsters, and artists, people willing to put their freedom on the line because freedom was on the line. The color line, the Mason-Dixon line, the Friday night basement sessions with the old mimeograph machine. It was the printing press of the people, bought by schools, churches, and businesses everywhere, and brought to bear in the 50s fight for civil rights. My 10 and 12-year-old cousins turning the crank, young cousin Karen collating sheets made of truth, and everyone always said, "The truth shall set you free." Well, at least it got us the right to vote. Somebody write me a poem about God and love, sex and joy. How to be spiritual when all I feel is physical. Tell me 1,000 stories when the night has quieted down and I can hear every whisper. I'll take a deep breath, feeling the metaphor fully. And when somebody writes me this poem, I'll read it every day, 1,000 times before bed. I'll teach it to my children, speak it till my lips turn to dust. And on my epitaph, someone will write this poem where I'll read it even then. Somebody write me a poem. Somebody write me a poem. Somebody write me a poem. Ooh, I like that vote line, huh?
I thought what you were needed.
That's all right.
It was so important. We need it, man.
True that. All right, I'll read a little bit more a little bit later on, but let's bring up our next open micer, which, if my memory serves, is Miguel. Ready to come on up here, Miguel? Come on up here and give us
Hello. So I'm a comedian and a musician. So I do both. So I'm not sure which one I'm going to do right now. I think I'll just do some comedy.
One of each.
Yeah. Let's see.
You guys okay if I use some language? Get a little graphic on some things?
Yes, we'll survive.
We'll survive? All right. Yeah. All right, so I'll start off with some comedy. So usually when I get up there first, a lot of people first look and going, I thought they said a Mexican guy was going up there. And then a lot of people always ask, how did a black guy like me get a Mexican name like Miguel? It was easy, I stole it. No, in reality, I'm half black, half Belizean, so that's how I actually got my name. So in my family, we've got 3 kids. I've got one who is 7, and she's got an older brother who's 10. And when she was only about 6 months, just starting to walk and everything like that, her brother had something, just playing, minding his own business, everything was perfectly fine. She just walked right up to him, steps on his foot, grabs his hair. Back then he had one of those Cabernet fros. Yanks him down to her height. Says something to him in baby talk. I don't know what it was, but I'm sure if I could translate, she goes, "Don't fuck with me, motherfucker." From that point on, he gave her the toy and everything. From that point on, I never messed with her. Every morning I gave her a cookie, peace offering. Her and I are in good standings. Now when you have multiple kids, everyone always asks you the same question. You know, which one's your favorite? Which one's your favorite? I don't have a favorite. I only have one that I fear. So, so I was born and raised here in Seaside. Went off to school, of course, Chico State, as you can tell. And while I was there, they had these courses that we all had to take, and they're called, they call them theme courses. Basically, they're 3 courses that have nothing to do with your major, and they have nothing to do with general ed. There's 3 extra courses. They call it making you a well-rounded student. I call it a waste of my damn time. So since I had to take these 3 classes anyway, I decided, well, you know what? I'm gonna make the best of it. I'm gonna take women's studies. I'll be the only guy, surrounded by a bunch of women. It'll be great, right? Right? Exactly. Not the case. I was the only guy, surrounded by a bunch of women who hated me. Quickly, I changed out of that.
Yeah.
Went into African American studies. That wasn't any better. Now I was the only black guy in a class full of students who thought I knew all the answers. Teacher would ask something, they'd look at me, I'm like, I don't know, I'm from Monterey. So, last joke that I'll leave you guys with. So I'm one that, I believe in equality for everyone, equal rights for everything, and one of the things that still baffles me to this day is when people get married, especially if it's a male and a woman, we still have these traditional concepts where the woman is supposed to take the man's name. And that still kind of baffles me. I don't understand why we still do this. Maybe it's because I think logically on a lot of things. And I think if something makes sense, then you should just do what makes sense. And I came to this realization when I was walking through a hotel room, and I was walking through a hotel, and they had a wedding announcement up. And it said, Susan Smith is marrying John Kostekistan. And I just thought to myself, wouldn't it be easier if it was just John Smith? Just my thoughts. Thank you.
Little something. Anything.
You can also come back and do it. Give us something.
All right. This is something you guys may have heard if you had no 90s music. The very first time that I saw your brown eyes, your lips said hello and I said hi. I knew right then you were the one. But I was caught up in physical attraction. But to my satisfaction, baby, you were more than just a face. And if I ever fall in love again, ooh, I will be sure that the lady is a friend. And if I ever fall in love so true, I will be sure that the lady's just like you.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's beautiful voice, and great comedy too. Great comedy. I hope you got a few more minutes worth of material because I'm probably going to ask you to come back up, right? which I know doesn't happen often in comedy clubs, right? So take advantage of the luxury while you have it. Yeah, thank you, right? No, I know because I used to work in comedy clubs and I know how harsh they can be. It's like you get your 3 minutes, that's it, you're gone for the night. No, it's true. And I used to know comedians, and they would go to different comedy clubs because they could only get like 3 minutes at each club because it was an open mic. But that's how they would do. They would spend their whole night going to about 8 different clubs. and just doing their 3 minutes. Some of them would wait till like 3 in the morning too to join. So, right, I know you've been over, you kind of, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Sure.
Right, that's the life of the comedian. But since you talked about women, loaded lips and cannon hips. I walk up to the bar and have a seat. From behind it, she smiles with loose lips and cannon hips. In a blink, I'm in her line of fire, fodder being blasted as exploding shells of her female flesh go off all around me. The 4th of July burning 1,000,000 times over on the glass of my eyes. And her curves are like stiff martinis. 1964 is my year, she said to another girl at the bar. I wasn't listening to the other girl, just the latex miniskirt she wore that covered just enough. She pours another drink for me. The lights come on, last call, and she shouts, time to go, you doesn't have to go home, but you can't stay here. So I finish my drink, smile goodbye, and stumble out towards my hotel, thinking metaphorically, thinking of 1964, thinking of latex. I'm looking at you and want you like, is that like, should we keep it to G-rated here?
Yeah, I was gonna say, no, you're good,
Am I good? Am I good?
Oh, yeah, we got you.
PG-13.
We're grown
PG-13.
now.
Yeah, we've done,
We're grown now.
That wasn't bad.
we've done that.
Horrible. I just looked at one and I'm like the ones going.
No, listen, it's okay.
Hey, it's my boss tonight, so I have to like make sure I please my boss tonight. Anyway, let's bring up our next open micer, which is the very lovely Lori. Come on up, Lori.
Garland and I have a thing about how high to put the microphone.
Yeah, I never know. I'm always guessing and I always get it wrong.
And she's wearing heels.
Well, that's because he thinks I'm really tall.
Well, from my perspective, you are. I'm short. I'm like,
It's only him, it's only him.
Couldn't be. It wasn't right. It's not fair. The sandwich is already made. I'm sorry, she says. She's not. Or if she is, she's only sorry for her own inconvenience. She'd never sell the sandwich. Not for $100. Not for logic, not for begging, not for nothing. It wasn't on the board. I looked down at my own food, finished up. I was glad it wasn't my sandwich, but I won't eat there again. So I'm a storyteller. It's a story I wrote 25 years ago, badly delivered.
No.
I'd like to tell you a story that happened to me just the other day. So this is a little improv. I was getting my lunch, Panera, rolled up in my beat-up Honda. It's been hit twice. Not my fault. I'm telling you, not my fault. They backed into me. So both my doors are crashed. I'm just pulling in for lunch, and suddenly there's a guy in front of me going, I got my boss's tools. You want me to take care of those dents for you? Now, I come from a very strange world. I come from grifters and con artists. And I know everything there is to know about a con game, especially the fact that I am vulnerable to them. If you think you're not vulnerable to a con game, you haven't been conned yet, but you will be. So I look out at him, and I think, maybe wrong. Maybe this guy is the real deal, because he's got a Middle Eastern look, and he's got a woman in the truck with a baby, And he's got a partner who might easily be his brother, and then he's got a sister who does psychic readings, and I'm like, this is stereotype vision. I got to see what's happening. I gotta know. And whatever it is they're gonna take me for, it's worth it for the story. So, I said, how much? So I can take care of that for you for $250. So that's reasonable. How are you going to do it? He says, well, I do paintless dent removal. And the moment I hear paintless dent removal, I know I'm in for it. But I want to see what happens. So I tell him, fine. Paintless dent remove my dent. He says, you got any other damage on the car I can take care of at the same time? I said, sure do. I'm right in the door. Okay? And I'm like, give it to me. Come on. How much are you going to sell me for the other door? Another 120 for that one. Okay. This is a cheap story. $370, and I'm going to find out if these people are wrong. I want to know. I haven't been with that culture before, and I want to know. So, I go off into the Panera Bread, get my lunch. They're working on my car, or whatever it is they're doing. And I've left my entire life's fortune out in the car with them, with no commerce, and I'm just buying my lunch and visiting the restaurant like nothing's wrong. Because nothing's wrong. These are Roma, or not. Who cares? They're conning me, or not. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's a story. I come back out half thinking I'm not going to find my car. Half thinking I'm going to find it with no dents in it. And not knowing which it's going to be is the fun part of life. You go in, you buy your lunch, you come out, you see what happened. And I come out and they're working on my car. But they're doing some scam stuff that I know from my days with my father. I know what they're doing. This one guy, he's already finished patching up the dent. Now he's putting some white goop all over it so that I can't see what's actually happened here. And he says, you leave that on for a couple hours. Let it dry. That'll get the scratch out. I can't see what's underneath that goop, but I'm thinking it's not smooth. So he says, come around to the other side. See, we couldn't get this stand all the way out, but we pulled it away from the hinge, and I bent the hinge back, and it's great. I said, fantastic, here's your money. Because I don't care what's under that goop. I want the story. He says, hey, you know, my sister, she likes to do a little psychic reading. You into that? I say, absolutely. Send her by. So sister comes. And she says, I do eye readings, $50 a pop. I say, you know, I'm already out $370. Let's dial it back. Now, if you believe in psychic stuff, you know you cannot bargain with a psychic reader. If you bargain, your reading's off. That's the rules. That's the rules.
There's a comedian here.
But I don't care. I'm not giving her $50. I say I can't afford it. Thanks. You know. And she says, "What can you afford?" I say, I say, "How about 20?" She says, "Absolutely." She starts giving me the worst cold reading I have ever had in my life. I have trash all over my car. I have stuff in the back. I have stuff in the front. I have dents on the sides. And I'm transgender. My life is in disarray. This is the easiest cold read you've ever done. You look at the person, you go, your life is in disarray. You're having trouble with love, but that's not your major problem. Your big problem is happening with your kids, isn't it? I'm right about that, isn't it? Now, why? Why would it be the kids? Because I'm transgender. Okay, so they're supposed to read the stereotypes and hand them back to you in palatable fashion. That is what mentalism is. Instead, she looks at me like she can't read the book. And I said, what kind of reading do you do? She says, I do an eye reading. I said, well, that's your first mistake. A couple of cards, I believe you. You're going to read my eye? But I don't say any of that. Instead, I hand her a 20, and I smile, and I think to myself, I'm better than her at psychic reading. Don't buy them from me. And they all go away, and I wipe the goop off my door, because I got to know. And it's a nice job. Yeah, it's ripply. Yeah, there's some little pox left. What do you expect from dentless paint removal? Paintless dent removal? It's not going to be smooth, but it was pretty. And I know what they were thinking. They were thinking, if we show the quality of our work, and they expect wrinkle-free, they're going to call the cops on us. They're going to make it impossible for us to make a living. Instead, they put goop all over it. They're gone before I find out that it isn't perfect, and they don't get any backlash. But let's face it, they did a good job. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, Lord, that really happened. Wow, that's wild.
They did a great job.
They did do a good job on it,
It's
huh?
awesome.
So, sometimes those people really do know what they're doing.
Yeah, I'm like, did you get their card?
I've got a couple of cars out back I need some work on, right?
They were terrible grifters.
Terrible grifters, right? Terrible.
A good grifter leaves you aching without your money and nothing to show for it.
True, yeah.
They were awful.
Maybe they were great body car artists, maybe, right? That was their thing. They were your traveling troubadour car repairers. You know what I mean? Instead of singing you a song, they slapped goop on your car door, right? That's their art. That's what they do, right? Very cool story. Very cool story. Speaking of stories. I'll tell you all one story. Can I tell you all the story?
Yes.
This is going way back. West 111th Street. I used to live in New York City.
Oh.
And this was a street called 111th Street between Broadway and Amsterdam. It was a very interesting time. I remember sweaty basement parties on West 111th Street. Between Broadway and Amsterdam Avenue, a block away from Cathedral St. John of the Divine and hidden in the Ivy League shadow of Columbia University. I was 15 years old with a polyester shirt sticking to my skinny chest, weighing in at 99 pounds, and getting lost in the music anyway. Dim light and people rubbing up against each other. Older kids feeling their hormones well up and take control. Everywhere I looked, when I was looking, was dark and shadowy. People grinding and making out, drinking in corners and smoking herb from the 125th Street Chiba houses, the scent permeating like a gentle perfume. Every guy grinding, praying he gets taken home or taken somewhere, anywhere. He could get his freak, his big willy, his shaft, Mac Daddy moves on. Skinny kids and not so skinny kids, all dreaming for the same Saturday night as their fantasies. To rub up against someone soft and sexy and be a man. A grown-up living life like the people in all those magazine stories you read, growing up with penthouse forum words running through your brain. Only our definition of adult only went but so far. As Saturday night wet dreams, because on Sunday, whether we liked it or not, we were transformed from marvelous sweaty hunks pleasing our women to teenagers with bad skin still living at home and eating mom's cooking. Juan, I see your name on the list, sir. You want to come up and do something for us? You guys want to hear from Juan? Emily, you want to hear from Juan? Your fans are demanding you. Your fans are demanding you play for them.
So, I'm not sure what we're doing. I mean, like, what are we doing for second? Are we doing it?
Are we going to bring up Jose?
I don't know.
Or are you going to do it on your own?
Let's try it on my own. I'm good, I do. I don't know. This is living room stuff, right?
You're not gonna sit on a pillow?
I love Lori when you come up here and just like, just gotta improvise and gonna do my thing. So it must be so liberating, huh? Sometimes, flipping the script, just I realize that for me, it's hard. I'm like, I was taught to recite the lesson. I went to school in Spain, private Catholic school. And deeply flawed people around me that demanded perfection. And if you didn't, you just, got a 0. And 0 doesn't average very well, so you were guided by fear. Imagine like in an abusive relationship, right? You're guided by fear, not by love. So you don't embrace the mistakes in your face, the little hiccups. When you sing slightly off tune, right? All you do is like try to seek a perfection that is in existence, right? So you're your worst enemy, own worst enemy. And somehow people tell you, no, you are really beautiful. You know that they're keeping things to themselves out of decorum. And decorum is kind of a lost art, right? Now you can ask those folks who yell out obscenities. Just people walking down the street. Go back to where you came from, even though where you might come from is a little bit closer than the wall. And for me, being an immigrant, an A-class immigrant, I would say, with scholarships to UCLA, and a marriage that made life so easy. Perspective is something that didn't come cheap. So hanging out at a school where 80% of my kids were children of migrant farm workers, all of a sudden just, you don't have to make up stuff. The stories are there. And then you see kids Monday morning, 8-year-olds that come all sunburned, and you ask them, hey, you guys spent too much time at the beach yesterday? Why are you so tired? Why did you want to do your homework? No, Mr. Sanchez. We were working in the fields, picking strawberries. And then you realize what a privileged brat you were. And all you can do, really all you can do is go back and reconcile this desire to please and this desire to be, as perfect as possible in a really rather imperfect way, but because you just saw reality, you have to make it up. Because reality now smelled like poor. You have to say something. It's no longer an option to stay quiet. So you speak with the hopes that one heart will be touched. When 100 do, you feel like, I can speak some more. But the voice that really counts is the voice within you. The one that you always be looking for validation from. And that one, it has an unquenching thirst. More love. I need more. Yeah, that perfection is not quite there. But boy, those children are pretty voiceless, aren't they? They don't even know what they don't know. They don't even know that they're in a little mini ghetto in Prudhoe, California, or in Seaside, California. So you decide to speak on their behalf. You say, before dawn they start. Stealing hours from the sun, they dress with pride in nighttimes and with dreams. They give themselves to their labor. They bend over, and when they do so, they carry centuries of suffering. They harvest the fruits of an exhausted land, feuds that are asked from them with blood and with sweat, and they leave behind their breath. But other hopes, their spirit is intact. They're children of the earth, hijos de la tierra.
Su lengua y Dios más fuerte es eterno, su herida, clava justicia de igualdad.
Then you decide to travel. So you're an immigrant, but guess what? We all are. We're all migrants. We all move. Sometimes just to pick up the groceries, right? But we move because we need to. Some of us are just a little bit more hypocritical than others. We want the freedom to move. We don't want others to move. We don't embrace the weirdness in others because we have not learned to really embrace our own weirdness. And when they create this space, that's pretty odd, right? A girls' locker room. It's always different. We could close tomorrow. The work, it's done and always undone. And then you remember these people that inspire you, and you're like, why? How can somebody get me out of my funky mood, right? It's a voice, it's a story, it's like just a little figure, then somebody singing about the moon, Mi Luna. From Nicaragua, Salvador Cardenal, dear friend of mine, passed away at age 49. Didn't matter that he was friends with Jackson Brown, that he produced 2 of his albums. He came over here with, thinking that he was going to make it. He was just still an artist. An artist so crazy, crazy, crazy that he lived in a little island in Lake Nicaragua in a house without doors or windows. And he would go by the markets and pick up monkeys that people were trying to sell and set them free in his little island. And birds. He used to sing about the moon. He passed away 6-7 years ago. Now his sister is coming to visit, and I just found out that she's homeless because thinkers and singers in Nicaragua are now being prosecuted. So she's searching for asylum, but she doesn't have a place to live. Somebody with so much talent. So this is his song, Mi Luna. Ay, mi luna, ha visto tanto que cuando te canto plata me acuna como en los santos y los prisioneros y los amantes, los locos errantes y los podioseros que amamantamos todos. Cuando no hay amigos, anidero, solo una poesía que flota en el aire sincero y en las bancas solas que hay en los mares que mueren de frío, esperando amores amanezqueros.
cuando un hombre canta el amor que quiere mi luna. Has visto tanto que cuando le canto su plata me acuna como a los santos y los prisioneros, los amantes, los locos errantes y los pordioseros que mandamos todos cuando no hay amigos. Carnero, solo la poesía que flota en el aire sincero y en las barcas solas y ahí en los parques que mueren de frío esperando amores amanezqueros. Ay, mi luna llena, escucha la luna, un hombre que canta el amor que quiere. Ay, mi luna llena, ay, mi luna llena. Ay, mi luna.
One more round of applause.
That's a win stream of consciousness.
That was beautiful. You have to put that up on the Facebook page. Okay? Put that
Sorry,
video
guys.
on the
Don't
Facebook
be
page.
sorry.
That was gorgeous. Was that not gorgeous?
Gorgeous.
Jose, don't you think?
You guys
What do you think? I'm blown away, right? Miguel, what do you think of this guy?
thank you.
She
Amazing.
transported us
Amazing.
right away.
Wow, thank you very much. Well, we've gone through the entire list. Is there anybody else who hasn't gone up who would like to go up? Anybody, my friend here?
Oh, I'm not performing, but I wanted to mention my good friend Amy Novak Warren invited me to come.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I believe we do.
Where is she at?
Yeah.
She said she was thinking about it, but she wasn't feeling good.
Oh, please tell her when you talk to her, we hope she's feeling better very, very quickly. But would you like to jump up and say or do anything for us while you're here?
Oh, I don't.
You're an audience
I'm
member?
not performing, yeah.
Hallelujah, we love audience members. We love audience members. Audience members, right, Miguel? Am I right? We love audience members, right? Excellent. Performers, I love performers too, but there's like a million of us around. Literally, there's like a million of us.
Is this show going till 8 o'clock?
This goes till about 8.
Well,
it depends.
No, we
If you guys,
yeah, that's short, it's fine.
that's what I was gonna ask you guys, because we've gone through the whole list. If there's anybody else who'd like to come up and do something else, we can.
Well, I have a print with some music for you to listen to later on.
Okay, all right, excellent. I definitely want to hear that. Anybody, Jose, would you like to come up and do us one other song at all? Are you good for the night? You're good for the night? Miguel, I know I asked you to come up. You want to, you think, don't you?
I'm good.
Yeah, it's, you know what it is?
That's a nice.
It's
a good night.
been nice, ending on one, it's fantastic, I think, it's been a very nice, chill night with you guys, Miguel, you were really wonderful, you're a very funny guy, very funny, I hope to hear more. Come down to Wednesday night, come down to the East Village Coffee Lounge, we have a bunch of comedians who've been coming down, and they've actually gotten together, and those guys are amazing, they've gotten together and they've started doing their own shows. All these comedians that start coming on and hanging out down here, Alex Mendoza and Alexander and a few other guys,
Brand Flakes.
Brand Flakes and Matt Bachmeyer, right? They all met at the open mic on Wednesday nights, and they got together, and now they're like doing shows in the area.
That's very cool.
So, yeah, check them out, they're on Facebook and what have you, but come on down, Miguel, and give us some of your comedy, I think you'll have a good time with us. Jose, thank you very much, it was such a pleasure to hear from you. Your music is just incredible, it's just wonderful, really, really beautiful.
Let's hear for Garland,
and
too.
Laurie. Yeah, no, always, I owe River because River's been filling in for me at the open mic on Wednesday night, so thank you to River. River is awesome. Give her, even though she's River, they are not here, give River a round of applause. River is an awesome human being. Go see their show, Seaside High is coming up, I think, Thursday, the first, the second, and the third, I think, this Seaside High, so go check that out. We'll be back on Wednesday night. We'll be there on Halloween, so if you want to come out.
Last Sunday of the month here.
Yep, and then the next last Sunday of the month, every last Sunday of the month we're here. So Miguel, please come back. Laurie, of course, you know you're always welcome. And Jose, you are always welcome as well. And Juan, of course, you run the place, so we definitely going to see you again. And if we don't, I'll be worried. So thank you very much. You guys have been wonderful. Thank you for listening to my poetry. Have a good one, guys. Thank you.